This conference will
add
now
them
be
to the gross.
recorded.
Okay, add them to the gross and move the waste types to RT table. Okay, now where are the time waste types? Where are the time waste types stored, guys? Anyone? See, this is the time evaluation run. This time evaluation run creates the results. Creates the results. These results are stored in time cluster. These results are stored in time cluster, guys. So in the time cluster, okay, various tables are there. Various tables are there. The tables which are relevant to the payroll is, okay, general table, guys. This is the main one, which stores the waste types with numbers. What are the numbers? What are the numbers in a time? Number of hours, number of days, right? Number of units, etc. Right? So the time waste types are only stored with the numbers, guys. In the time management, no amounts are calculated. In time management, no amounts are calculated. Only the numbers. And cost center information. C1. Okay, if any attendance has a specific cost center, there is a cost center split concept. So cost center is assigned. And if any attendance has an extra payment, this is called alternative payment. Only these three tables are relevant to the payroll. Okay, so this is a time evaluation. Now this is the payroll. We are running a payroll, guys. Okay, in payroll we have a schema XT00. We have a schema XT00. Okay, so when you run the payroll, okay, here there is a function, guys. There is a function import B2. There is a function import B2. So this cluster name, time evaluation cluster name is called B2. Okay, import B2. So it won't import all the tables in B2. It just imports the tables which are relevant in payroll run. It imports these tables, guys. Okay, which tables? ZL, ALP, C1. It imports only ZL, ALP, and then C1. Now when it imports, the waste types have only numbers. Only numbers. Now one more thing. Suppose if I'm not using a time management in SAP, the time management, SAP time management is not used. For the time management, this company is using Kronos. For example, there is a third party software which is like a competitor to the SAP time. That is also doing good in the market now. Kronos. Now, the Kronos data has to be imported into the payroll run for the valuation. The Kronos data has to be imported in. So here, let's say this is a Kronos system, not SAP time evaluation. This is SAP time evaluation. Okay, similar to this, there is a third-party system, non-SAP system. Okay, non-SAP system. For time. So what we do is, from this, we generate an interface file. Okay, outbound interface file. Okay, the Kronos will generate a outbound file, guys, which contains the data. Okay, so this outbound file, okay, if it can be directly loaded, we can directly load it in SAP. So this outbound file, we convert it. Okay, in such a way that can be loaded into SAP format. Okay, so the conversion is optional. Okay, if there is something that you need to convert. See, non-SAP system will not have a waste types. They may have a pay codes, but you need to convert them into waste types, right? So you need a conversion. Okay, and you have to have a conversion file. So this conversion file is loaded in which info type, guys? Which info type?
2010.
So info type 2010. Okay. Now in such a case, this 2010 is imported here with the function P2010. Okay, with the function P2010, guys. So this is another integration with the tab. Okay, with the integration with the tab. Clear. So generation of outbound file is the responsibility of Kronos consultants. Okay, they might also take care of the conversions while generating the outbound file. If they don't convert it, now we have to convert it before it is loaded into 2010, and the loading program itself can convert these values. Okay, these customizations can be done in many ways, no issues. Okay, now once this info type data is updated, the records created here in this 2010, each date wise separate record, each date wise records are created, guys, and the date wise records are loaded here, and the date wise records are imported here. Next, another time wasters. So employee apply the leaves, absences. Okay, employee apply the absences. In which info type? In which info type? 2001, guys. Okay, so these absences are actually very much part of payroll. Okay, when I say absences, you think this is a part of time management. Not exactly. The absences are created mainly for the payroll. It is actually part of payroll. So that's why we need to learn when we have discussed absence creation earlier. Once these absences are created, then these absences are imported by a function. Okay, these absences are imported by a function RAB, guys. Read absences. Okay, these read absences. These read absences generates a output AB. This output will be the input of PAB function, process absence table. Now this process absence table generates waste type for absences. Okay, so this one imports waste type from 2010. Okay, import B2 imports the waste type from Delta. Okay, next, quota compensation, guys. Another time related topic. Another time related topic. Quota compensation. So there is an info tab we use for the quota compensation 0416. Okay, so the quota records can be deducted. I told you already. The quota records can be deducted. Quota value can be deducted using absence type, using quota compensation info type. 2001 deducts the quota. Info type 2001 deducts the quota. Info type 0416 also deducts the quota. So whenever you have to compensate, the same number of days has to be generated in payroll, imported in payroll. So there is a function. There is a function that reads quota compensations, which is okay P016. So what it does, it imports compensation waste types. Okay, imports compensation waste type gas. Now, so there is a one more scenario here which has to be executed here after B2 itself. Okay, what is that scenario? You understood these four areas? Time cluster 2010, 2001 and 0416. Understood this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Hello? No. Guys, give me 2 minutes. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah. So we have a quota compensation. The quota compensation where steps are imported by this function. Now, let's say the pay rate of the month is 28th, guys. Let's assume 28th is a payday in every month. Now, to run the payroll, to keep the bank file ready by 28th, at least you have to initiate the payroll by 26th or 25th. Let's say I'm running the payroll on 25th. Okay, so that I can have a 2 or 3 days buffer time. So to resolve if any issues are there. Okay, if any issues are there, we have 2 or 3 days buffer time. Okay, now if I'm running the payroll on 24th, the time evaluation results generated until which date, guys? Until which date the time evaluation results are created? See, today is the 25th January, for example. If I'm running a time of payroll today, 25th, now the system imports a time cluster. Now the time cluster is generated until which date? The time cluster is generated until which date, guys?
25th.
No. The time evaluation is usually executed in the mid of the month, mid of the night. So that by the time the time evaluation is executed, the clocks are, all the clocks times are recorded. Right? Now tell me, until which date the time evaluation is executed?
24th.
24th. So this cluster has the results until 24th. This cluster has the results until 24th. But I'm running the payroll for the entire month, right from 01 to 31. Okay, 01 to 31. Now, if you have a time data only until 24th, how do you pay for the remaining 6 days here, 7 days here? Okay, so that's where what SAP has done is you pay on a nominal basis, an assumption basis, assuming employee will work from 25th to 31st. Okay, so you pay the employee according to plan working hours, not actual hours. Until 24th, you have actual hours recorded, but 25th to 31, it's an assumption, right? That employee is going to work unless there is unpaid absence created. Okay, every day is the attendance day. Clear? The system assumes that employee at work right from 25th to 31st. Okay, 25th to 31st. Clear? In such a case, there is a nominal time evaluation executed, guys. Okay, here I'm supposed to explain this. DAYPR, initiate the day processing with the time schema TC00, with the time schema TC00 from PDC recalculation date. From PDC recalculation date. The PDC recalculation date here is 25th, guys, because until 24th the payroll is accounted. I mean the time evaluation is accounted. Then the recalculation date is 25th. So you are running a time evaluation here. Okay, you are running a time evaluation using this. Okay, so run a time evaluation. Time evaluation on a nominal basis. Run a time evaluation on a nominal basis to pay the employee plan working time. Okay, from PDC recalculation date. Okay, from PDC recalculation date, guys. Okay, so this is what is the scenario here. From PDC recalculation date. Now the system will pay for the 31 days. Let's say after paying after running the payroll, after 25th, all of a sudden employee has taken unpaid leave, okay, on 28, 29, 30, 3 days. What will happen? What will happen?
In next period, it will be accounted.
In the next period, it will be accounted as
Unpaid absence.
Retro.
in the next period, it will be accounted in the retro because there is a change, right? What is that change after payroll run? After payroll run, you are changing the master data. After live run, you are changing the master data. The date of change is updated in info type 3. Okay, so that in the next month, February, the system reruns the payroll for the January and it will calculate the difference between the latest of January and the previous of January and pay it. That's how the companies pay it. See, there are many companies paying, 23rd or 24th or 25th. Okay, how do you think they are paying for the entire period? So we are in April. If I run the payroll on 25th, do we have a data of 26 to 30? No. They will assume employee will be at work. Okay, and then pay for those hours. Now, once absence data comes, they update that in the system. Okay, for the past period. So that absence data will be executed in the retro and accounted in the subsequent payroll. Okay, that's how they do it, guys. All right. Now, so all these 5 scenarios, guys. Okay, right from here to here. Just import the waste types with the numbers. Import the waste types with the only numbers, guys. Only numbers. Okay,
Sir,
if I have to calculate, yeah.
Will they, when they import B2 cluster, is it from 25th of last month to 25th of current month, or it's from 1st to 25th of current 24th?
It can import. It can import if there is such a change happened in the last month. It can import. Otherwise, it imports only current pay period. By default, it imports current pay period from first of the. So it always sees this pay period, guys. The cluster is always imported for the pay period. Okay, like a payroll, if you make any changes to the retro in the time data recalculation, then system will execute payroll also from that period. Say for example, this is executed from November, time evaluation executed from November for the mass data changes. Okay, so the time retro set an indicator for the payroll retro. In some database table, it will set an indicator for the payroll retro. It says, okay, payroll also run from November. Then this payroll also will be run from November. Okay, it will re-import the new waste types and calculate the difference between the previous month and latest run and previous run, and pay that amount. All right.
Yes, sir.
If the time is going for a retro recalculation for the past periods, payroll also will automatically go for a retro because it sets some indicator. Okay.
So because if on 26, if there is a overtime, so there is not going to be a retro because 25th is not yet run, so it will be a normal run. So how will the payroll know there was an overtime on 26th?
26th of current month.
Yeah.
See, we will not be paying that overtime incentives anything updated after 25th. That's what I'm saying. Okay, today
Yes,
we are on 25th. We are running the payroll now, right? We will run the payroll with the data what we have as on 25th. So the payroll is completed for January. Now after paying the employee, okay, Let's say we have a overtime information, incentive information, unpaid absence information, which is related to the January, okay, has come. Now we update the data with the dates. 26th, there is a overtime, okay. Let's say 28th, there is unpaid absence, okay. 30th, there is incentive. What happens when you update the data? When you update the data for the periods which are already executed, what will happen? What will happen if I change the data of the payroll periods which are already executed? Anyone?
It will recalculate again. If it is
First thing it does
period or
is, no. First thing it does is, how many changes are there? 3 changes. In these 3 changes, what is the earliest change? Okay, 25th. The change may be current period, or the change may be even past periods. For example, employee after paying 25th, right? Employee come back and then say there was a overtime missing in the last 2 months. So any past data, if you update, so this date of change is updated in InfoTab 3 in earliest master data change field, right? So when I run a February, what will happen? In this case, earliest master data change is what? Let's say 26th or 25th. Jan is a master data change. Now I'm running the payroll for February month. When I'm running the February, since this date is 25th January, so entire January payroll will be repeated. Now it calculates a new net salary, okay, and calculates the difference between old net salary and new net salary. That difference will be accounted in the February. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once 25th is settled, that means you completed payroll for January. After 25th, if you are making any changes, those changes are accounted in a retro run of January, which is in February, in original period February. So remember that. So your time waste steps have only numbers. Only numbers. Number of hours, number of regular hours, number of overtime hours, number of shift allowance hours, like that. There are hours. But how do we convert that hours into amount? What we need to convert that numbers into amount?
rates of pay.
We need to have a rates. Okay, we need to have a rates. Okay, we need to have a rates. First, the rates has to be converted, and then this import. Okay, time waste types import. Okay, import time waste types. Importing time waste types means this part, the 5 areas I told you just now, and then value time waste types. Okay, value time waste type means convert that numbers into amount by multiplying numbers into rates and calculate the amount, and then add to cross and move time waste type to RT table. This is what is the schema all about. Got it? Is this clear as?
Sir, where do these time types and page types will be coming here? 2012.
Which one?
Info type 2012, time types and base types. Time when we give input in time types, it will be converted into base types and it will be.
That is part of time management, not part of payroll.
Okay.
You guys are reading it in payroll or what?
No, I had a scenario. I just want to check it. That's it.
See, basically 2010 is used for what? 2012, right? Time transfers.
Yeah.
See, this time transfer function is here in the time evaluation. What is the purpose of this? System generates the balances here. Time evaluation generates the balances. These balances are stored where? Okay, time types, waste types, and quotas. Quota balances, the waste type balances, and time balances. So system has generated, let's say this waste type is generated with the 2 hours. The waste type is generated, overtime is generated with the 2 hours. Now I want to increase it for one employee, or I want to reduce it. I want to replace it. Increase, reduce, or replace the values generated by time evaluation in time types, waste types, quotas. You can do it using 2012. Clear? Okay. You can increase or reduce or replace the time waste types generated or time types generated or quota balances generated in using 2012 input type base. That's called time transfers. Okay. So after adjustment, anyway, it is updated in JDL table only. The JDL table is imported. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys, that's all for today. So this is the overview of XT00. The overview of XT00. We'll look at this practically tomorrow. Okay, to calculate the rates. Okay, to calculate the rates, we need a parameters here. To generate the parameters, we need a work schedule data here. Okay, so this is what XT00 schema is. First, import work schedule data and then calculate the parameters. Using the parameters, you calculate rates. Once rates are ready, import time waste types. Okay, and evaluate the time waste types and add the waste types to the gross. Okay, and move the waste type to the RT table. Okay. That's it, guys. So we'll see each function by function tomorrow. Okay, catch you tomorrow.